Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about preschool, tot school, and what you really need to teach your young child. Hello everyone. If you're new, welcome. I'm Megan. I'm a mom of two little girls and we homeschool full time. I have a kindergartner and a very wild preschooler. I have seen many people discuss all of the things that you need for tot school and preschool this year or any year, and we have been doing a kind of nature preschool at home for a few years now. And so now that my youngest is going to be around while I am full-time homeschooling a kindergartner, it definitely highlights the importance of what to do at home with a small one who is not ready for formal lessons, or who wants to be involved in school or is ready to learn, but also what is appropriate for young children who are not of necessarily school age. Now, my kids have done a few days here and there at a church preschool. My husband is a minister, so they went to like Mother's Day Out that was sort of formalized for a while. But kind of other than that, you know, I've been teacher, and I follow what would be considered a Charlotte Mason style homeschool, or at least a Charlotte Mason understanding of homeschooling. If you're not familiar with Charlotte Mason, the very pared down version is that she was an educator who lived in the late 1800s in England and was a lifelong educator of small children. And she believed that children under 6 didn't need formal, like seated formal lessons. Now, I agree. My daughter is in kindergarten and is not 6, however. So we are kind of doing a modified kindergarten. But for preschool, the focus is learning through life and learning through environment and very holistic natural learning. We also are really big believers, as was Charlotte Mason, in the power of nature and outside play. How that really is fundamental to a child's development. So I am going to talk about actual things that we are doing with my 2.5, almost 3-year-old. But a huge part of what we do in our daily life is go outside. The average child, and if you're familiar with my channel, you've probably heard me say this, the average American child under 18 spends less than a half an hour a day outside in unstructured time. I think it's closer to like 14 minutes a day unstructured outside. So that's like not in soccer or football, but just allowed to do what they want. Whereas back in Charlotte Mason's time, she spent 4 to 6 hours a day with a child outside. We don't get to quite to 4 to 6 hours. We strive for 3. We strive for 3 hours outside. The average is about 1,000 hours a year outside. Good or bad weather, we try to get outside and play. And I've noticed my children are far better behaved outside. However, now that I have another child that has to do something in school and be with mom and spend a few minutes of my attention needs to be somewhere else, we need, 1, things for my daughter to ideally do pseudo independently, and then 2, I do want her to be getting some basic skills. But what are the basic skills that I want to focus on? I am not concerned about formally instructing her in ABC flashcards because she's 2.5 and she's just not ready. She wants to be upside down and singing a song, you know, with sand in her hair and in her mouth, and she has just got so much energy. She does not want to sit and focus for very long. So we have some things that we are working on focus, but a lot of what we're working on is more abstract thinking, storytelling, motor skills. fine motor skills. Now, outside play is very helpful in that, but inside, let's go over what we do. The first, like, number one thing that we do is we cut things up. We just cut stuff up. We cut up old pictures that, more old drawings that, maybe aren't quite fridge worthy. I have, drawn lines, and we draw shapes. We talk about the shape kind of briefly, just say, we mention like that's a circle or a square or whatever. Can you cut it out? Can you cut it up into tiny pieces? My least favorite game in the whole world is how small can those pieces be, but sometimes we suck it up and we play how small can you cut those pieces up. And I was super reluctant to switch from plastic scissors to metal scissors, but my kids were so frustrated with plastic scissors not cutting well that I finally just got the blunted metal scissors, and it made a world of difference. And these are teeny tiny, because I have teeny tiny girls with teeny tiny hands, and they really needed something really small for their teeny tiny thumb to be able to maneuver. So we have a few pairs of these, and that has made a big difference, getting actual metal scissors that kind of makes my heart stop. But they've done very well. We explained, careful, and they really can't do too much damage, at least to skin. I'm sure hair would be a different matter, but we keep eyes on. But that has been fabulous, and it is a really great motor skill. We have multiple games as well that do motor skills and stuff. It's in my game video. You can check that out. Another big focus that maybe hasn't crossed your mind is emotions. Emotional intelligence, talking about your own emotion in the moment, talking about other people's emotions. And so we are doing a daily, like what your emotion is, but we also have flashcards of these faces, and that is the only flashcard sort of thing that we're doing this year. But instead of just saying, ABC, she has to look at the face, and we just say, is she sad or is she happy? Is she frustrated or is she excited? And she's gotten very good at it, but it's also really helpful in talking about how you're feeling, and giving more range to just, are you sad or not? So this has been a big focus. The flip side of this is actually a much larger range, and we talk about this with my kindergartner. This is like the level upped version of that. My daughter's current favorite thing to do that gives me the most time to talk to my kindergartner uninterrupted are these. I have two of these, the little book of woodland bird songs, and I have the little book of backyard bird songs, and they are we do a lot of bird watching because we're outside a lot. I have binoculars. I love to watch the birds, and so they have real bird calls from a bunch of different birds, and they absolutely love them. They have pictures as well, but they just love listening to the sounds and then trying to go outside and find those birds. And that has been a huge hit. Anything that makes noise is obviously good, and at least it's a pleasant sound. But also it's nice for me because I really like watching the birds, and then we get to find them out in nature. Speaking of nature, this is one thing that kind of is an in and out thing. Magnifying glasses. Goodness, hours of fun around the outside in nature, but also in your house. Like, what does the carpet look like? What does the drapes look like? Are they different? What does the wood look like? This wood is rough. This wood is smooth. What does that look like when it's blown up? What is rough and smooth? So these are fantastic. And I did get real glass ones. I think they're 10x. So they're a lot stronger than like the typical kids ones, and they love them, and they're not expensive. They're on my Amazon list. They're not expensive, which is good. One of the other things that I think is super important when you're doing any kind of books with kids, Charlotte Mason talks about no twaddle. And what she means by no twaddle is nothing silly and pointless. It's great if it's pretty, but if you're reading a book to your child, that's an opportunity to be presenting them with something. So we don't do any fluffy, silly kids books. We try to do books that are talking about a person's perspective, that are teaching them something about nature, or something like this, which is actually, this is a Wimmel book, and there's a whole series of these, but it presents you with a group of characters at the beginning, and then each scene, it is very busy, but each scene, all of these characters can be found, and then you talk about what they're doing. And you, like, sometimes we have the girls hunt, like they pick a character to hunt for, and they have to find them in the picture, but then they talk about what they're doing, you know, where is he going, where is she going, what's happening today. And it's a really good opportunity to work on communication, to work on storytelling, and some of those really important skills. So we focus a lot on storytelling. I have multiple games that are storytelling focused games. Some of them are in my games for kindergarten, I think, kindergarten and preschool video, where we talk about, we have a spin and tell game where they have to create a narrative. So those things we emphasize. The other three things that I have that we use in hopes that she'll work slightly independently. I love these rainbow pebbles. These are incredible. So they come in these super bright colors, and they come with mats, and I can show you. So you get these very sweet little pebbles, and they have matching mats that you have to find, and it works there's very basic, like you're gonna find the long green oval one that will go here, and they match perfectly, and then it gets like, you can do whatever you like. You can just find the shape, or you can match the shape and color, and they have to fit it. But it isn't like a traditional puzzle piece where this piece very obviously fits into this piece. You have to move it and turn it. Maybe it's upside down, and it really works a lot of interesting like spatial reasoning. And then when you get good at that, when you get good at that, it teaches you to do stacks and things. And so this is a much different skill, and there's much harder stacks than even these, but it comes with all of these sheets, and it's just, I love these. I love this for critical thinking and for color and pattern recognition. And again, like, she will actually sit and do this for a while on her own, which is the best. But I like that it creates different challenges from very, very easy to very, very difficult, and you have to work your way up. I love that. This is the Melissa and Doug ABC puzzle. So we don't do a lot of like ABC drilling, but we do work with this. I didn't put the pieces in here because they would all fall out. But I really love the wood puzzles. The nice thing about this is that my older daughter likes to help my younger daughter, and they work together, and my younger daughter just listens way better when my older daughter is helping her. And then speaking of wooden puzzles, we do have a few of these like chunky shape and color recognition puzzles, but again, we don't do anything kind of drill or flashcard. We just kind of let her sit and play and manipulate and touch, and that is really our biggest focus. So if you have comments or questions, let me know. All of this stuff will be linked. It's an Amazon affiliate, or get it wherever you can find it. We love used around here. That's always primo. But again, we take a very gentle world learning view for preschool and for tot school. If you have questions, please reach out. You can also follow us and see kind of what we do on a daily basis on Instagram. Going crunchy, not crazy. Bye guys.